Let's talk about the subtle, invisible, silent benefits of quitting drinking. Because when we talk about alcohol-free living, it's very easy to concentrate on just a few big things, such as waking up hangover-free, or having more energy, or looking better. In fact, whenever I share before and after pictures of the women that I've coached, I always get loads of responses to those photos because they're such a visible, sort of tangible example of the difference that sobriety makes. So, sure, there are lots of changes that we can see. You know, we can see the money that you save by not buying alcohol. We can see you actually making it to that yoga class or going out for a run. We can see how empty your recycling bin is. But of course, there are so many other benefits that are practically invisible. Things that would be hard to capture on camera and that perhaps no one else will ever know about but you. I've been thinking about this quite a lot over the past few days after I had a coaching call with someone who I've been working with for a while, and she's now nearly 3 months sober. And she was telling me that she had finally had the courage to speak to her boss and tell him that her workload's unsustainable. She's just got too many projects on the go with too many deadlines. And having the courage and the confidence to stand up and say that, to say, hey, this is unreasonable, that was a real breakthrough moment for her. Because when she was drinking, she never really knew what was reasonable and what wasn't. Perhaps you can relate to this, because if you start every day feeling a bit off, a bit behind, a bit like you're on the back foot, and you're not as quick during the day as you want to be, well, then it's hard to have the confidence and the inner knowing to question anything. My client believed it was just her not being fast enough, not being good enough. Someone else who's just finished my Getting Unstuck course was telling me that when she was drinking, she never used to answer the phone in the evenings. Never. Because she didn't want to get caught out. She knew people were a bit worried about her drinking, so she didn't want to get caught slurring her words or forgetting the conversation. So it was much easier to just not answer the phone. But that meant she wasn't available for the people she cared about, and she wasn't around to chat to her grown-up adult kids who work during the day, so they wanted to speak to her in the evening. She just wasn't really there. But now her sobriety means she has that connection back with them. And she feels pleased when the phone rings rather than silently kind of resenting it. She knows she can be that grandma who can be called upon at any time. For me, I remember one of the invisible, surprising benefits of quitting drinking was that it gave me the ability to be fully present and in the moment. Because before, if I used to go out for a meal or to an event where we were drinking, I was often having to juggle 2 conversations at the exact same time. One out loud with the people I was with, and then one internally with myself. Wondering if it was too soon to order another drink, wondering if I was drinking too fast, whether it'd be easier to just make my excuses and go home, where I could at least drink as much as I liked without other people seeing or watching. When I stopped drinking, the big surprising benefit for me in that situation was that I felt way more present and connected with people when I went out. So I actually had a better time than I did before because my head was quieter and I could focus on things like what they were actually saying and enjoy their company. So what are the subtle, invisible, surprising, small benefits of sobriety that you've noticed? Maybe you've quit drinking already, or well, perhaps you haven't stopped yet, but there's something that came to mind as I was speaking that you know you worry about, or you'd be relieved to get rid of it. Perhaps it's an issue that you don't ever share with other people. Like maybe you'd love to be able to get up in the morning and look your partner, firmly in the eye, because you know exactly what you said and did the night before. Perhaps you drive your kids to school and each morning at the back of your mind, you quietly wonder if you're safe to drive. Like you think you are, but that fear quietly niggles at you and you'd just love to release that, not have that. Or perhaps there's something else, subtle, invisible, that bothers you and you know it would just go away if you quit drinking. Let me know in the comments what that would look like for you and what gets you excited to change. I've just shared a handful of examples here, but there is so much more I could have said, and I'd love to hear what comes up for you when you think about this. Because sometimes these small, subtle, invisible things, they're the big things, the things that matter.